Hey guys, my name's Alex. I'm the video guy at J29 Creative, and today it's a spooky season. Actually, this whole month is a scary, spooky season. So we're going to talk about the scary stuff about filmmaking and videography. Okay, so there's a lot of spooky things about videography and a lot of scary stuff, and I've lived through it, and I'm sure a lot of you have, so I'm going to break down what they are, obviously why they're scary, and how to avoid / fix some of these problems. So the first thing is being unprepared for the video shoot. There's nothing like going to the video shoot and not having your batteries, not having the gear or special things you need, not being prepared for the script, or not even knowing what you're shooting or what you're doing. That's obviously a train wreck, and that seems a little bit obvious, but you'd be surprised. So I always, just to be sure, go through a checklist in the preparation phase of shooting. So I always check all my gear before the shoot. I always look through the breakdowns and the meetings and the notes. And another fear that goes along with that is not getting what you need during production. You need to make sure that you take charge and you get what you need, because there's nothing like being in the edit room and realizing you didn't get that special shot, you didn't answer, or you didn't ask that question that you needed during the interview. Okay, number two, this one's a big one. A lot of people freak out about this one, and it's losing data / footage. There's nothing like planning everything and then shooting, taking days to shoot possibly, and then absolutely losing everything and having to come forward to your client and say, hey, I just lost everything. Okay, the first step to not losing your data and footage is to, again, be prepared. So the main thing I do is always double check my SD cards and every, thing I'm using during the shoot, make sure they're all clear, formatted, and ready to go. Because sometimes I'm at the shoot and I have some footage from a past project on that card, and I'm thinking, I need more space, should I format this? So I don't do that, I just format it the day before and get it out of the way, because if you format the last project and you didn't save it, then you're screwed and you just lost your footage. So let's say you just got done with a shoot, you have all the footage, and you're back at your editing bay. The first thing you should do is just offload it. Get it off the card, because if you keep it on the card, you're most likely going to lose it. You offload it, and then you follow the 3-2-1 principle, which means 3 different areas that you're placing it. Let's say your main computer hard drive, then like a passport, like an SD card, SSD, portable SSD, and then a backup drive if you have one. It's always safe to have 3. Then you have 2 different locations. So let's say one at the office and then one at home, just as a backup. And then one, you just have an archive. So you just put everything there, you just leave it. You just lock it up. The way I keep myself accountable for following the 3-2-1 principle thing is that I have 1 day a week that I follow where I double check that I did offload all my SD cards, I formatted them, I did put them in the 3 different locations, and they're all archived properly, and everything is good. That way I don't have to double guess myself. I always know it's there, and even if my portable SSD and my computer crashes, I still have my archive, and it's just everything's fluid. Alright, and the last scary thing about videography, at least to me, is the client not liking the final product. You went through all this work and they don't like it and they're yelling at you now. If you're already in this situation, I'll tell you how to deal with it in a second, but really to avoid this is you really just need constant communication and a lot of preparation. You want to make sure you're constantly talking to them, making sure you know exactly what they want, and it's a lot of common sense. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. Don't cut corners, you know what I mean? And just be in full communication. Sometimes the client doesn't know exactly what they want because they can't communicate a video the way that videographers can. That's part of your job, to listen to them and really get a sense of what they want, so that you don't create something that's totally not what they wanted and now you're screwed and you have a video that nobody wants. Now, if you're already in the situation where the client doesn't like what you made and you already shot it, you're kind of in a pickle and there's not a lot you can do with that. But I'm going to give you a couple things. First, you can try to redo the edit. The more you talk to them, the more you understand what they want. And if it's content-wise, then a lot of times you can massage it in the edit, change it up, and usually you can find a compromise between you and the client. If you want, you can go ahead and reshoot, but it's up to you if you charge them for that, you give them a discount, or you do it for free. That's all up to you, your contract, and the way you work. If the client doesn't like the video because of quality reasons, that's a lot tougher. If it's completely your fault, you totally screwed up, then I mean, it might be a good thing to go off and reshoot it, you know, pro bono, try to save your name. If that's not an ideal situation or it wasn't your fault, then you just got to communicate with the client, hey, this was in my contract. It rained that day, we couldn't shoot, you know, it wasn't the sunny day we wanted, so we have to reshoot, and this is a fee to reshoot. You just have to deal with the crappy situation. Sometimes there's not always a quick fix. So those are the 3 really scary, spooky things that I think I've encountered, at least, and I've talked to a lot of people they've encountered. It's just all around scary. It sucks. Nobody wants to be in those situations. So I hope that this video helped you in any way, or at least gave you insight. So I hope you liked. Subscribe, follow, like, do whatever, and I'll see you next time.